Hello, good morning. It is 8:34 and I had a very interesting dream. I don't really know what it means, but yeah, before I get into the dream, um I want to talk about I love how my beard always looks like chaos in the morning. It's so funny. Um I Oh man. Oh yeah, I forgot that my monitor. It doesn't matter. Uh, so I have to say, I in fact was successful. Um, Last night, my last message was about how I was gonna face my fear and dive headfirst and just do the. I remember now. It's called Omegle. Um, and they have VR Omegle where you can just keep skipping and just talk to random people. But anyway, so I got my headset, popped it on, and then I got everything ready and I sat down and I was like, okay, I'm doing this. And it took a lot of courage to press the button to get the first person. First person was like, I don't even know. I think there was some spammer that was spamming a bunch of noise. So I skipped them. Um sorry, not sorry. And then the next group of people, um yeah, they basically, it was a little shaky start where I felt really uncomfortable in the very beginning, and I was starting to try and come up with like what should I even be talking about? I don't know. And so then I just started asking, random questions, and eventually I got down to okay, now we're talking about stuff that I'm the arena is set, as it were. Um where I was like, okay, well, what are your dreams? What are your aspirations? And we had a really good conversation. I think it was over an hour. Um, and then we ended up getting cut off. I think I think this was the one where we got cut off. Because I don't know. I think maybe their headset died or the room broke or something. But um, yeah. So it was a really good conversation. I'm not going to talk about specifics because I want to actually do a VR chat video, which I'm going to do after I'm done with this. So, yeah, you should, theoretically, you should have already seen it before you ever see this, because I'm a week ahead. But anyway, so that was really good. And then I got to the next group of people, and they were also, uh, well, okay, let me think. Was that? I think there was one person who was spamming again, and then the next group of people had a dynamic where they were running around and they had a little RP thing, and that was very cute. And then yeah, uh, again, after we kind of got past the silly little intro stuff, I just started hitting them with questions of okay, well, what's your dream? What do you want to do? And I realized that seems to be that's a really good place to open and start if you want to have a deeper conversation, and not just something surface level. Um, so I'm like, okay, Dreams, great. Had another great conversation. In the first two like main conversation stuff, where I had a conversation for an hour with each of these people, or each of these groups, I ended up like mentioning my YouTube channel, and I don't know, they're just like, yeah, we want to watch it and be fans, and I'm like, great, awesome. Like, you know, if the content helps, I genuinely think that, like, I have some gold, like, throughout all of my videos, where the titles seem very unimaginative, but the content is anything but. You know, this channel is a culmination of my entire life. And I'm just offering up all the wisdom, all of the things that I've kind of understood. And also kind of using the fact that my soul is so old and deep to really get to the heart of a lot of things. And I know that most people just, it's not in the cards for them to be able to do the stuff that I'm doing. And that's okay. But that's part of my, like, gifts of sharing with the world. So I think the people who watch this and watch my content, I believe once you see a couple videos, you'll know if it resonates with you. You'll know if this is content that's like, yeah, I want to watch everything. And, you know, to the people who want to watch everything, hats off to you. There's a lot of videos. It's hours and hours of content. So, I guess from a standpoint of, like, what should you be consuming, random YouTube slop or this content, I think this content's very nutrient dense. Let me put it that way. And the YouTube, I kind of imagine my content as, I use this analogy of a hole in the wall where you find a restaurant that's like, it has the worst possible logo, like it's faded, broken, it's like squeezed in between two large places. There's like one table and like two chairs. There's an older gentleman that's like, he opens his restaurant for like 2 hours a day, whenever he wants. So sometimes he's just not open because he doesn't feel like it. And you get the best food you've ever eaten there. That's how I view my content. Is the appearance, the outward appearance, is something where you don't expect what you're actually going to get. And I really do, I put my heart and soul into everything I say. And I try to be as genuine as I can by just being me, unapologetically. And for the people that really enjoy this content, I'm happy, because I know that there's a lot to learn from, my journey, and I just know so much. And I wish I could just take out all my knowledge and just paste it and then say, here you go. But it doesn't work that way. And honestly, I don't think anyone would want to learn that way either. So, yeah. So that's how I view this content. I'm layering things in the daily vlogs. Like, you could have a vlog where I'm just talking about food, or you could have a vlog where I'm talking about like some deep esoteric thing on life. And that's by design. Whatever pops up, that's what I'm going to talk about. And you're never going to know what I'm going to say. And that's the beauty of this kind of content. I don't know what I'm going to say. So how would anyone else know what I'm going to say? So, yeah. But anyway, so I just wanted to kind of point out that I know that this is valuable. And I know it's going to get to the right people. I kind of get the feeling that all of this groundwork is being laid for this kind of future influx of people that will stumble across my content and be like, where have you been? You know? I've been here, but you just haven't seen me yet. And that's kind of also kind of a metaphor for like me walking through life, where as I interact with people, if I don't actually talk to the person, you can't see me. It's only when I talk to you that I reveal myself. And yeah. It's kind of like I have a cloak on, cloaking myself when I'm not interacting with people. And then I go, surprise, I'm actually someone that you probably really wanted to talk to, and you didn't even know it. And I just show up in people's lives when it matters. And, you know, I'm not for everyone. That's fine. I'm not supposed to be for everyone. But for the people that I am for, it's going to make a big difference for them. So, yeah. Anyway. I'm going to talk about the dream. So, the dream was very bizarre. First of all, I don't know how to say this other than there were two women who basically loved me / wanted me to, like, give them attention. I don't know how to, like, that was the vibe I was getting. And so what ended up happening was I was training them, like, through, like, weightlifting and, like, swimming and all of these, like, different activities because they wanted to, like, grow stronger and whatever. And every time I did, like, solo training with one of the women, the other one was like, hey, that's not fair. I want that attention too. I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. I'll I'll give you that attention, the one-on-one training, and then afterwards, then we'll both like you'll just both do all the sessions, so that it's fair. And yeah, it was very wholesome. There was nothing like weird about it. It was just like there was this like pure like enjoyment at like just being in each other's company, and I would just do all of the training with them and show them like what you're supposed to do. And yeah, it was it was actually really nice. And then man, like I've noticed I've been trying to like cough, but I don't know, something about maybe my throat chakras maybe having some issues. Um, but anyway, so I started painting randomly during this like exercise routine, and I was having them do like I don't know, like swimming or something, and I started painting the ocean and the sky, and it all started as like one blue, and then I started using whites or the white to like make the foam of the waves, and I very distinctly remember using a white line to kind of hit the entire skyline so that you had the sky, because they were both using similar blues, but the sky and the ocean being completely separate with that white line. And then drawing these clouds that like popped out. Like I used a lot of paint to make them like actually pop out of the painting. So I think I was using some sort of, I don't know what the oil paints. Yeah, I was using oil paints, I'm pretty sure. Because it was very easy for it to like pop out of the painting. And you know, slowly but surely, I felt like, oh god, why can I only think of Bob, but I can't think of his last name? The dude that like, you know, he had died a few years ago. I say a few. It's been a while, but oh, Bob Marley, I think. The painter that, all right, I'm going to do here. We're going to do a little happy accident. Oh, you know, doing a little trees, and you know, he was very like calm. He had the really cool hair. Um yeah, I think it was Bob Marley. Is that right? Now I have to look it up because I'm gonna feel really silly if that's not his name. No, Bob Marley is a musician. What the heck? Bob Ross. Jesus. Bob Marley. Bob Marley, the painter. Okay. Um. Yeah. So Bob Ross is what I meant. Anyway. So. Yeah. And I remember painting so like vividly while they're like training, and they're just loving every moment of like the like training, and it's almost like the training was like me showing love to them, and care, and they could feel that, and then I could feel the like love and care that they had towards like just wanting to do their best and, you know, competing with each other, but like in a fun way. And yeah, it was really wholesome and nice. So okay, let's find out what the dream means. Sorry, my I got like my setup's kind of messed up right now because my notebook is like pretty far on the thing. Okay, Dream Bible. Let's see. Training. Alright, so it did revolve around training. So we're going to start with training. The dream of training represents feelings about improvement or preparation in some areas of your life, learning or sharpening new skills, coursework or schoolwork, feeling that you need to improve your abilities, new skills are needed, trying your hardest to improve to get stronger for a coming challenge or confrontation, sharpening skills, wishing to improve your skills or qualifications. Negatively, dreaming about training may represent feelings of inadequacy or self-doubt about your abilities. I don't think it was that. Okay. So I think it was the first paragraph that I read. So that makes sense because the Omegle thing was like a 3-hour like jaunt. If where I basically I guess I never finished talking about that there was another group after that I ended up communicating for about an hour with. They also were like, yeah, they were also very wholesome. It started out with jokes and whatnot, and then kind of got serious, and yeah, it was the whole experience was like, I was like, yeah, why was I afraid of this? Like, I don't know. And I will thank, there is a very specific reading that I listened to where the reading talked about, hey, so you have a door that's open. And I totally pictured that as this VR thing. And so you can either walk through the door with courage, or you can choose to close the door. If you walk through the door with courage, something unexpected will happen, and it will be a really pleasant thing, and your path might accelerate a bit. If you don't, and you close the door, you still, like, it's still a really good path, it's just a bit slower, and you're still satisfied. So both paths are fine. It's just about whether you want to go a little bit faster and use that courage, or go slower and kind of grind it out a little bit. And I was like, well, I obviously know what I want, and that's, I want to, like, use my courage when I can. So that's what I did. And you know what? It was totally right. Like, I didn't expect to run across the people that I did and communicate with them. And it was great. I really enjoyed myself. And my alarm is about to go off because I set it for 9 o'clock. So I'm going to preemptively nip that in the bud. Boom. Ha! I had 8 seconds left. Wow, that was impressive. Impressive timing. Okay. Anyway. So, okay. So the dream of training. Okay. So improving my skills in preparation for an upcoming event. Perfect. Okay. Now I'm gonna do, I don't know, I guess 2 women. I don't know if I can do 2 women. Nope, I cannot. Okay, so okay, Okay, so women in dreams represent feminine personality traits that are passive, sympathetic, receptive, sensitive, nurturing, intuitive, creative, or giving. If you are very attracted to a woman in your dream, this may represent a desire to have something occur or to have a pleasurable type of experience. It may also reflect your feelings about how nice something is to feel in your life. Okay, that makes sense. It wasn't necessarily like, yeah, I think there was like an attraction there, but it was more of like a love rather than the like a lustful attraction. So I guess I'm gonna put love in there. So I guess I'll just put divine feminine in because that is like an umbrella for everything when it comes to the feminine personality traits and whatnot that I resonate a lot with like divine feminine as a like in any reading where the high priest card or the high priestess and divine feminine gets like mentioned, those are the readings that tend to be like way closer to like my personal stuff going on, where they're generally dead on about a lot of things. Those are also the readings where sometimes like one of the people has like a word scramble where they put a bunch of words at random to like hone in, and it's like, you know, my name has popped up at least twice, where Tom popped up in one reading and then Thomas popped up in another reading. You know, my grandfather that I was really close with popped up a few times, and like there's just other things like that where it's like, you know, oh, this is a divine feminine reading. Also, in the word scramble, Tom was showed up, and like, you know, a few other words on top of Tom that like resonated with that current moment. So anyway, so I'm gonna use divine feminine. Divine feminine energy. And then we will use love. To dream of being in love or feeling love represents a situation in your life that feels good all the time. You may be experiencing newfound success or financial security. To dream of being in love with someone you aren't involved with in real life symbolizes your strong attachment and acceptance of a quality in yourself that you see in that person. It may also reflect strong attachment or comfort with the situation that is occurring. Okay, that doesn't, no, and then no, 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 no. Okay, here, this last one. To be in love with a strong to be in love with a stranger represents a strong attachment or acceptance of new qualities in yourself or situations. Something in your life may be encouraging new feelings or feelings you haven't had in a very long time. Okay. That sums it up. New qualities in myself. So, acceptance of new qualities of myself. And combining that with Divine Feminine, I think, maybe new aspects of my Divine Feminine I'm, like, accepting and, yeah. So, I guess I'm improving... Okay. So, piecing this all together. I'm improving my skill for an upcoming event, and in the process, I am seeing new Divine Feminine aspects that are coming to the surface that I am accepting as, like, a part of me. That's what I think the, like, if I was to boil it down. Which is, you know, that's really nice, actually. That's really cool. Day 83. Clean. Day 5. Okay. So that's set up for tomorrow. Okay. Yeah, okay. So I talked about all that. Now I do have a LBL, which is Life Before Life, 3 hour. It's a 3-hour session of, like, hypnosis, effectively, where I go under and then we kind of root around to figure out what's going on about, like, past life stuff. Which, now that I know a little bit more, I'm interested to see what pops up, because things like Egypt and Egypt is, like, something that's, like, really strongly calling as something I probably should check out. So I don't know. We'll see. You'll find out, like, what I experienced in a couple minutes, but yeah. Okay, I'm gonna let you guys go. I really want to do a quick... I say quick. It's probably gonna be half an hour or more. Well, I gotta take a shower, so it's gonna take half an hour. But I want to do this video before. So anyway, okay. I'm gonna go. Talk to you guys in a little bit. Bye! Hello, it is 3:44, and I just got back from the LBL, Life Before Life, 3-hour session. It went really well. I'm going to kind of cover it in a second, but I'm going to get some house cleaning stuff out of the way. Afterwards, I went and got the garlic tofu that I really love. There was this overwhelming sense that after that experience, I needed to like do something that was really joyful for me. And I feel so much joy when eating that food that was the thing that I decided. I'm going to do some other stuff after, but yeah. So I did that. Then I came back, brushed my teeth, and, now I'm here talking. So, kind of what went on. I won't get into specifics, not because I don't want to talk about whatever it was, but because I genuinely think some of it I'm not even really supposed to be talking about. But I'll do highlights. So, first, we ended up interacting and talking for an hour before this actual session. And just kind of gave her a sense of, like, my journey. Talked about the YouTube channel and all of that other stuff. And, man, it's like, okay, it's good now, but I don't know why I keep struggling with that. So yeah, ended up talking and found out that she actually, she has a book, and like she had been like talking with the angels when she was like 11 years old, and it was a whole thing for her, where there was this kind of frustration that she had for a while about trying to hold on to all the information that she was being given. But a lot of it just kind of got blocked every time she kind of went and visited the angels. She would come back and a lot of the knowledge would just be like wiped for a while. Where she still knew and understood, but she couldn't like externally speak it. Because there was no words to really describe it, and she couldn't parse together her understanding. But yeah, so we ended up talking. I'm totally gonna go and read her book. I need to remember. And yeah, after we talked, they have this little like box that you effectively lay in that is like a sound box thing, and I was remembering some like past life stuff, and yeah, it was really emotional. I was like tearing up. I cried multiple times throughout the session. And yeah, it was really interesting what came up. And I had some of the stuff, I'm like, oh, this is why I like a certain thing, or why I'm attracted to certain things. And that was just really, really interesting. The more I kind of delved deeper, the more that I kind of just realized how much of the things I'd resonate with were tied to a lot of this past life stuff. Because I have a lot of past lives. Or at least major past lives. that, you know, there's like in between stuff where not a lot goes on. But like the major ones, I still have quite a few. I mean, like I think in the session I covered at least like 5, and those are like major important ones. I'm not talking about the minor stuff. But anyway, I'm kind of getting sidetracked. So yeah, man, it's like right here. There's like, it's like a liquid just sits there. And so when I'm talking, it bothers me. Yeah, it's like, oh, it's so weird. I don't know why it does that. Anyway, so basically, you know, I talked about the past life stuff, and that was great. But then we kind of totally did a 180, and she basically just like kind of called in like, well, she didn't call in. The angels were always around me, but she kind of recognized them as like, hey, now let's like talk. And Archangel Michael basically was the one who was like communicating with me. And it was funny because she was like, oh yeah, I totally felt him there. Like, she has a really strong connection with him. And I didn't know that, but it's interesting that I have a connection, she has a connection. And so it made the connection stronger, I think, because we were both there in the same space. So I could actually like see him. Like, not with my eyes, but like I had a lot of like details. Like, you know, I could see him like doing facial feature like things, like nodding and shaking head, like, you know, pointing, thumbs up, like making different expressions, all of that stuff, which was like a very interesting experience. And then yeah, she just started asking questions, and I would kind of like look to him. He would give me the information that he wanted to send to me. God, it's like I need to figure out how to like fix this, whatever, or heal this, or I don't know. It's like frustrating because I want to talk, and this like liquid just keeps getting in the way sometimes. Okay, so yeah, like we just had a conversation, and as I was kind of more immersed in the conversation, I could feel my energy body above my normal body. Where I couldn't really feel my normal body, I just felt the energy body. And it was a very like peaceful, serene sensation. So like when I don't know if you can hear it. I'm talking, and then liquid starts like slowly congregating. It's like fucked up. Okay. So it's like right here. Huh. Okay. Well, we'll just do our best here. But yeah, it was a really nice experience. Got some questions answered. Got some, no, we can't talk about that because you're just not supposed to know. And I'm like, yeah, I know. Literally had the smirk come out again. It's like an endearing thing at this point where, like, when the smirk shows up, it just conveys the feeling of, I know you know that I know. And I'm like, you cheeky little guy. So, yeah, but anyway, I know that he did that intentionally to, like, troll me. It was like, it was very funny, honestly. It also felt really lighthearted and just kind of like, it was like just a couple of people just buddy talking to each other and like, can't talk about that. I'm like, you got me. I was trying to get you. Ooh, like that kind of thing. So, yeah, it was a really great experience. And I just gotta keep waiting. I say waiting, but I'm doing a bunch of stuff while I'm waiting. But it's like, I'm doing all the prep stuff. I don't know how it's gonna all unfold. But I know that, dude, I'm telling you, there were so many angels there. It was insane. Like, he was kind of at the forefront. Michael was kind of at the forefront, but like, it was like circles and circles of like angels around. It was like insane how many angels were there. But yeah, and I also got some nods of like, yep, that was me. I definitely said that, or I definitely did that, or whatever. And so it makes some of the things that I didn't get why I just suddenly had this understanding of something. I'm like, it was you. I see what you're doing. So, yeah. It was really cool, honestly. Like, I definitely recommend, if you have the interest and the capacity to just be open, exploring the idea of like going through a life before life kind of trance, meditation, whatever you want to call it. It's very interesting. So yeah, I would recommend it. Again, if you're not interested in that stuff, that's okay. A lot of what I'm talking about, I understand if you're out of the loop spiritually, it can just sound insane. And that's fine. Like, I'm obviously not for you. If you're finding me and you're listening and you're like, who is this crazy guy? Then you're probably like, maybe you're here for like one specific message and then you just head out, and then maybe you find me again later. But yeah. I also really liked that, like, finding out that she also has kind of had a lot of those nudges. You know how earlier in the day I was talking about, I think it was earlier in the day, I was talking about the nudges that I get, where like, show up at a specific time, meet a specific person, say a specific thing, leave. She's experienced that so much throughout her life, and I'm like, oh my goodness, thank God someone else is feeling that, because it is, I've gotten so used to it at this point that it's fine. But, like, sometimes I'm just like, what is going on here? So I listen. And they also were, like, patting me on the back. Like, Michael's like, you deserve a pat on the back. Good job. And I'm like, yeah, I did do a good job. And I should be more proud of like how where I've come from. Because, I'll just say there were multiple times where my life could have just never recovered. But that grit and determination and perseverance, never giving up in myself, even when the world was gray and I was in the void alone, I never gave up. And, well, look, now I've alchemized everything, more or less. I still got some stuff that I got to work on, but, like, that's the way it always is. But a lot of the major stuff that I need to get done, at least in this life, I've kind of done. Now it's kind of like the future stuff. I also, like, she tried to ask about the city, and he's like, no, you're not going to know about that. You need to keep just doing your thing. You're going to get distracted. You just need to focus on doing what you're doing. And I'm like, okay, you got it. But all right, that's basically it for now. I did get the I think it's the Smith and something or other deck, the deck from like the 19 or 1800s or something, that they did like a remastering of. So I think I got that. Although I'm not supposed to play with it today. So I'm like, okay. I think it's because I just need to rest. That is like the overall vibe I've been getting. Today, you've pushed yourself a lot in terms of like communication and spiritual connection and all of that stuff. Just relax. I'm going to go out for a walk. I say that. Just relax. Okay, now I'm going to go for a walk. But yeah, I'm just going to go for a walk. I think I'm going to go to that. There's another mall that's a little bit further that I really like, that I haven't gone to in a while. So I'm going to go do that. And yeah, I think that's really all I'm going to do today. I do, that reminds me, I need to pull up DaVinci because I was rendering the video that I made for the VR stuff. I'm going to post that today along with my normal video. I think, oh man, today is the day that I try to force it again. The like connection thing. Because I go to like Central Park and I wander around and I'm like, where is the person? And then I think tomorrow is the day that I do the tomorrow would be the last day. Because that'd be Sunday, so that'd be Monday, yeah. Where I stand in the rain and get like sad because I stood there for like an hour. It's kind of like, obviously, like that definitely was important because it's like, okay, enough's enough. Like, stop doing this. Stop trying to do the fishing method, which is a wander around and hope that something shows up, which is like, that's not going to work. If it's supposed to show up, it will show up. And it doesn't matter if you're in your home or if you're like on the moon. It'll just show up, right? So, yeah. But anyway. Okay. Thanks for listening. I'll probably make another video right before I go to bed. I don't know if I'm going to eat again. I might eat some carrots or something, like carrots and tangerines, but this like one meal that's like a bigger meal seems to work decent for now. I don't think that it's going to be something I'm going to do forever, but for the next like day or whatever it is. But all right, I'm going to go. Bye. Hello, it is 11:17. And I was going to make a video a little bit earlier, and then I got super sidetracked. I was editing today's vlog. Well, today that I'm posting. And I totally forgot about the most important message that I've ever recorded. And so by the time I've like actually posted all of this, you'll already have seen it. Holy crap. Listening to that back, I was like, how did I forget this? Like, this is so important to post. And I almost like wrapped it up in the vlog by itself. And I'm like, no, this has to be its own video that people need to know. Like, you need to watch this, if anything else. So, if you haven't watched it, what are you doing? I made it very clear that this can't be a skip video. You have to watch this. Well, okay. Technically, you have free will. You do not have to watch it. And I would say instead, I would highly recommend that you watch it. Free will. Everyone has free will. My kind of journey, as I've kind of locked into more and more of my like power and my understanding and everything, it's more and more about good teachers are there when they're needed, and when they're not needed, they're not there. And they let the student figure things out. So with my videos, and I hope I've been doing this, like, I hope this is coming across. I say what needs to be said. But I don't say you have to do X, Y, or Z. I definitely imply that you should, or that it would be helpful, but, and sometimes, like, because it's something I'm still really, like, making sure that I'm clear on, that I'm not trying to, like, I don't want to impede people's free will. That is more important than, even though this is the most important message that I've like said, it doesn't mean that if you don't want to watch it, don't watch it. Even though I think everyone in the world should watch it, right? I think it should be like if everyone understood this message, then I think literally the world would be like changed like that. Like, it would just be, everyone would be like totally different. At least in the approach, because it's like we've gotten so wrapped up in the physical stuff that we forgot why we're here, because of course we purposely don't know why we're here. Some people do, so it's like, okay, it's not all people, but we all wake up at our own time. But yeah, I was a bit aggressive with my title. I was like, don't skip, like I'm yelling. So maybe should I'm gonna leave it, but okay, this is kind of another one of those. So I talk about this in the video. These subtle nudges, unlike, hey, I know you've learned this lesson. Be really careful, because you're starting to tread on maybe stepping back and not really like fully learning your lesson. In the past, I've very much been someone who has tried to, even though I think I'm totally right on like my perspective, and I see the problem and I see how to fix it. You cannot force people to see it. You can't force people to change, and you can't force people to like understand. And doing that impedes on their free will. You just can't do that. And so, like, I came in hot on this, where I was like, you have to watch it. And I'm like, no, I gotta step back. And so what I'm doing right here, right now, is acknowledging that I almost stepped back. And it may have started off really small, but it's something where the more power and responsibility that I get, the more I gotta check myself and make sure that I'm standing by my principles of everyone has free will, unconditionally love everyone, unconditionally accept and forgive them. I need to do those 3 things, and I'm probably fine. As long as I'm like interacting with people in this way, everything's probably fine. And when I'm not, if there's ever a time where I'm not like this, I need to look back and be like, okay, what did I do here that I'm not in alignment here? Because that's telling me that there's something's up. I need to review. So I'll just say, for future Tom, because I don't doubt that there will be moments when I'm tested again and again as I get more and more of the power kind of loaded onto me. And what I mean by power is like, there's like soft power, there's hard power, there's also like gifts and all sorts of other stuff where power can look like very, very different things. I'm talking about more of like the soft power. Maybe at some point I might have some hard power, but I don't know. Like, I don't really know what the future's going to look like. But soft power is really easy to slip up on, where it's like, maybe it's you have the power over everyone in your company, because maybe you own a company, and you get to pick and choose who gets hired, who gets fired, who gets raises, all of that stuff. That is soft power and a little bit of hard power, obviously. Soft power in so much as you don't directly control the person, but you do control an aspect of, like, well, they work for you, so there's a power dynamic there. where there is some hard power of like you literally are dictating like their salary, right? So but the soft power is more like, well, you're the boss, and if you walk around and interact with people, there is this soft power that you exude by being the boss, where people will act differently because you're the boss, and because they know that you have a bit of hard power over them. And in reality, just to be clear, no one has power over anyone else, in the truest sense. It may appear that the boss has power over other people, but all of these people could just leave the company, right? They could go and work a different job. They're not actually stuck at this job. So this is what I'm talking about, where it's like the perceived power, it's there. And, you know, you can go down a rabbit hole of all of this, but like, my point in bringing this up is the soft power is the scarier thing because it's very insidious in terms of like, there is going to be temptation to, because it feels good for people to look up to you or to be deferential to you. And so you have to be incredibly careful about misusing and abusing this kind of privilege that you're getting, because you are in fact in a spot of privilege where you have a lot of responsibility, and because you have the responsibilities, you also get this added privilege that shows up in the form of soft power. And the best bosses, or the ones that are the ones that people will remember fondly, are the ones that do not take advantage of this soft power and that act and treat everyone the same. Like there's no one's above anyone else, because that's the truth. And so it's really easy to get people to think that one person is above other people. But we're all the same. There's no one has any actual power over other people, because they still have free will. And even in situations where physically, like for an example, if you go to jail, you'd think, oh, well, you know, I'm in prison, so all of my power is taken. That's not actually true. All the power is inside of you. And you get to pick how you feel and how you act in whatever situation you're in. No one can take that away from you. People can try. People can plant thoughts into your head. People can try and manipulate, but they can't directly take from you, because at the end of the day, you have to consent to them puppeting. If you don't agree, it doesn't matter what they do here, because you won't move. It's only when you agree to make the move yourself that the puppet strings actually work. So as long as you decide to have sovereignty within yourself, and you know, you choose how you act, you choose what you do, regardless of the situation. So yeah, but my point is, this perceived power is very insidious, in that the power itself, obviously, you know, as with what I'm saying, the power is all an illusion. because you don't actually have power over these people. But in a three-dimensional space that we're living in, there is a level of like, well, if you want to work here, you could do a little extra, and then I'll give you that raise. But if you don't do the extra, maybe I'll give it to Linda across the hall, and you don't want that now, do you? So it's like, it's this level of like soft power where it's like you could step over the line and try and get people to, fight against each other. Like, then you go to Linda and do the same thing, right? Or you tell Bill that, like, you're like, hey, I've never liked you, and like, you're gonna have to work your ass off if you want to stay in this company. Or whatever. Whatever your manipulation tactic is to try and, like, get people to do what you want. At the end of the day, they have to consent. And, most of the time, like, in a work setting like that, people just kind of do consent because they've been conditioned that this is okay. When it really isn't. But, anyway. So you have to be really careful when, like, as more people kind of start to see the videos and everything, I have to be very careful about what I say. Not because I'm trying, it's like, I'm not worried about getting in trouble or anything like that. What it's more about is I have to be careful about the words I say because my words have power. And if I say you have to go and watch this, probably a lot of people will go and watch it. But that's not okay for me to do. I'm not supposed to say you have to watch something. I can say don't skip, and I think that's on the line. Like, it's almost like a command. So, I feel a little weird about it. But it's ambiguous enough to where it's like, they can still, like, look at the first 2 seconds, be like, and then just not watch, right? But if I say, go watch the whole video, you have to watch it. Like, yeah, I just shouldn't do that. And so this is what I'm talking about. This is like a perceived soft power. Imagine, like, right now I just have a few people watching. But imagine in a couple months when I feel like there's going to be a big moment where eyes are going to be all over me. And so people are just going to end up watching all of these videos because they want to know who the fuck am I and why am I in a position that I'm in. And while I have the perfect, catalog that you can figure it out. But anyway, my point is that imagine, 2 million people or 1 million people watching for a moment. And if I was to tell them, they trust, like, they see the videos, they trust that I'm gonna, like, be responsible, and then I tell them to go do something. Like, chances are I'm probably gonna have a lot of people going and doing it without even thinking. That's not okay. Like, it crosses a line. And I don't ever want to do that. So, yeah. So, I will say, if you see me doing something like that, comment down below. Say, hey, you said this at this time. You need to address it. Or whatever. I welcome that. Because I'm one person. And I police myself to the best of my ability, right? But sometimes it's helpful for an outside perspective to be like, hey, this sounds really, really like, this sounds like you're commanding us to do something, right? And then I'll address it. But yeah. And obviously I'm going to use discernment. If people are just like, I don't like your video, and you're really, like, you're trying to tell me to do everything, and that's not the case at all, it's like, okay, well, those things will happen. But yeah, anyway. Something to keep note of. I don't think I'm in actually any, like, danger of kind of slipping like that. But it's early and often. You catch it early and you catch it often. It's better to have the guardrails and stand about 5 feet away from the guardrails as opposed to standing on the guardrail, right? Because, you don't want to actually fall off the cliff. Or intentionally, Like, I don't think I'd ever intentionally jump off the cliff. But, if you're standing on the edge, there's going to be more of a temptation because there's nothing stopping you. Whereas if you're 5 feet away and there's a barrier and it's like, you'd have to climb over the barrier first, and then there's another 2 feet to the cliff, and, like, there's a lot more incentive to just not even think about the cliff. So yeah. And I would say, to any future people watching this that have soft power, or, again, perceived soft power, because you don't have actual power over people. Sorry, hate to break it to you. But if you have soft power, perceived soft power, really think about what you're actually doing and why you want to use that in maybe potentially a way that detracts from other people. Because I'll just say, people will look up to you as someone who was benevolent and kind, caring, and, just a really great person to work with when you treat everyone with respect, treat everyone as people, and you don't abuse the potential soft power that you have. And you're going to get more respect, more adoration doing it that way than being someone who forces people. Again, you can't force anyone. You can try, but that's manipulation, and that's a totally different thing. You're just trying to convince them to do something. But yeah. A great leader leads by example. A great leader sees the plight of those he or she is leading and works to address that. Because a great leader knows that they're just like anyone else. They're not special. They just have a certain skill set that allows them to lead. So are you going to be a great leader? Or are you going to be another one of the countless... I don't want to be harsh here. the countless mediocre leaders. Because there are very few great leaders, and those people look up to years and years later. So if you want to be a great leader and not just a mediocre one, you know what you need to do. Alright. Thanks for listening. Have a good night.